Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to another great evening of racing here on OTL on Twitch. We are here at Silverstone International for round number 4 of our BMW 235i League on the race room. And they've just got started in qualifying, couldn't get the stream started quite on time this time around unfortunately, but yeah, they're literally only 90 seconds in to this 10-minute qualifying at the start of the evening. So first race of 3. But the only qualifying session of the evening, the other 2 races working off the results from the race before. And then top 8 reversed as well, so you do get the car finishing in 8th, starts the next race in pole position. So currently on board with M-Power. Fancy him again tonight, has won all but 1 of the 9 races so far, has been a dominant force in this championship. We can actually take a quick look at the standings then after the first half of the championship. So you can see M-Power with a commanding lead at the moment, 319 points to 230 for Sjors van Sant Vliet. And I think M-Power is going to take a minor miracle for him to not win this championship. But yeah, still has to get it home, so we'll see if he can manage that. Zandvliet in second. Kopelecki sitting in 3rd place. He's 32 points clear of Conor Garrett in 4th. Dennis Deutsch in 5th. Vizar Jacoli, the Kosovan, in 6th. Bas Hilstra 7th. Phil Lawson sitting in 8th. Damien Jensen in 9th. Martin Webb sitting in the final of those top 10 spots. Very close in that mid-pack though. We have one new driver today. We have Andrew Pike. So saw him in the BMW, the ACC League last night. Races here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, he's coming to race room, see if he can get on with the game better than he did in the WTCR season. A couple of spots open in the championship, so hopefully he'll have a good evening of it. So M-Power just over a quarter of a second clear of Zandvliet at the moment, so pretty much following the standings very nearly. But it will be a track everyone is very familiar with. It's the Silverstone International. It's on most sims, so there's no arguments, no excuses for not getting on well with the circuit. They've all had much practice around here in quite a few different cars on different games. Obviously race room feels its own way. Let's come on board then with something slightly further back. So Kopelecki dropping down to 6th at the moment. So it's not a long lap, just over the minute. It's about a 70-second lap. It's for M-Power anyways. Got 10 of them in within a second of him. So it's still fairly close up top. We just see as the night go on as well. Many of those that maybe didn't get a chance to practice as much as they would like during the week, you get a lot more comfortable with the car as the evening goes on. It's another interesting dynamic, really, of the fact that each evening has 3 races. It does give you a bit more time to get more and more comfortable with the car as the evening progresses. Kopelecki still sitting in 6th, just over half a second back at the moment. Struggling to really close that gap any further. So we do have 21 drivers with us this evening, good to see. A few drivers still to record a valid lap. I think just Zamfir Radu now. His image was broken on the overlay beforehand on the standings. So let's see what car number is he. 516. So let's double check what we put down in the roster. Yeah, no, it did. Okay, so fair enough. So that livery is not an image we have. Oh well. The more you know, hey? Live and learn. So you've just got to set a valid time now, and then everyone will be on the board. Just under 3.5 minutes remaining. So coming round. International layout. It's an interesting one. It's a layout that you don't see all too often. You see a lot of the Silverstone GP, the full layout. Not done mostly. Coming on to Hanger straight here then, down towards Stowe. But it's a fun layout. That's one I enjoy. Uses the other pit straight, the Vale and Club, being the final couple of corners of the lap. And then Abbey is the first turn. So the other half of the circuit is the one where they use Copse as turn 1, but yeah, they do not use any of that part of the circuit then on the international loop. Still struggling a little bit, still hasn't set a valid lap quite yet. And that mid-pack quite congested. Let's go with Vizar Chicoli then. Bright white Beamer. So sitting in 11th. You can ignore the Albanian flag, it just doesn't have the Kosovan one, I don't think, for obvious political reasons. No, he is definitely Kosovan. Sitting in 11th in this qualifying session. To then, so down to 12th, so someone popping up in to a high position. I think Phil Lawson there, up into 7th. So these are in 6th in the championship at the moment. Baz Schilstra just behind him in points, and Dennis Deutsch just 1 point ahead of him. Not sure if Schilstra is here this evening now, actually, so he'll lose out quite badly there. Zandvliet, one of the 2 Zandvliets. This was Shores this time, popping it up into 4th. See, very congested in that mid-pack. You can see the top 14, nearly 15 if Martin Webb's 800s quicker within a second. Probably the closest qualifying we've seen all season. So then, what can he do? So not many times changing then on the board. Or saying that, Zandvliet we're popped up into 3rd. I think that should be it. But you will see the odd time might be still improved. It just likes to bring the times up nice and early. Let's see if I can get rid of them. Hang on. There we go. We'll get rid of them for now because it always popped up a little bit too soon. Keep that on the screen there. So there we are, we hit 0. So that is the times then that they have set. Don't know why it doesn't just turn up, show that on 0, but there we go. Not something I don't think I can change. I know, because they're slow as anything, Leg, because they're rubbish. It's very continental lineup you get in Race Room. One I very much enjoy. So then, Empower at the front of the grid, as per usual, as he has done every race this season, I believe. Pretty sure he's got a pole in every race. Racking up the points like it's normal. Evenings of Volodymyr, good luck. Yeah, good luck, sir. Now we've got Andrew Pike, who's very much jumped in. He saw last week and was like, that looked fun. Is there any spaces available? And obviously very, very reliable. We don't need to worry about assessing him. so he's straightened it tonight. Did race in the WTCRs but struggled. Thought it was the first time he'd done race room, and I think he regretted his car choice. I think he picked the Peugeot and was quickly realised what a mistake he'd made there. So then Empower and Sam Zantfleet on the front row. Red lights are all up. You hear the revving engines in the background. And they are away. Looks like a good start then from Empower. Zantfleet's in second and third. Dennis Deutsch dropping down to fourth. So that says the time has sorted themselves out after they've gone through a few corners. So that wasn't Sam Zantfleet, despite the game telling us it was. Here we go. So he's currently still up in the second spot. That's Shaw's. His brother just in behind. So someone either hasn't pitted, or did they have a crash, or did they just literally not got off the line? I think there's been an issue there, maybe tech-wise. That's not quite right. Doesn't want to be in the pit that early. Doesn't look like anyone else has really dropped off the back though. So it doesn't look like he's been caught up in any incidents. It's very weird. We'll have to work out what that was afterwards. Hopefully just a tech gremlin or something, and he can get back out for race 2. So nice short lap, just over a minute. And then Power making a good start. Zantfleet brothers, second and third. Dennis Deutsch in fourth. You can see here in his fetching number 305 black Red Bull liveried BMW. You've got a bit of a queue behind him. You've got Phil Lawson. You've got Lucas Kobalecki, Loic Martins, Vonimir Burek, Zyko Madzo, Sasha Rupel, Vizar Shakoli. So it's a big old queue from there on back. Conor Garrett in the bag, Bud, Martin Webb. They're all still in a nice line. Darryl Wright, Ronnie Thunder, Adam Drain. Andrew Pike down in 18th. And then got Jay Middleton. Zamfir are doing, and Jensen, believe, stay in the pits, despite what the game's trying to tell me. Let's double check. Yep, no, definitely in the pits. So that front four, little gap between fourth and fifth, and then you can see a little gap again between that train behind and the few cars just in front of them. It's gone with Phil Lawson again. So Kobalecki looking at his inside, coming down into Stowe. They go side by side, giving each other enough room. It's nicely done. Hangs it out wide. He's a bit of the curb. So Kobalecki giving him plenty of space, and Lawson then will have that inside line. Coming into club. And he took that nicely. Keeps his position. Kobalecki just drops a little bit back. So Loic Martin will maybe be interested if he can just get a little bit closer. Or a couple of cars going wider there. I think that was Zyko Madzo using all of the runoff and some. It was in the bag by using a bit of it as well. In the bright red BMW, he'll slot in behind Conor Garrett. Garrett up in 10th. Martin Webb just in behind, I think. Yeah, Martin Webb, and a little bit of a wiggle there. In a grey and yellow liveried Beamer. A little bit of a wiggle. You have to get this car a little bit loose, use it to your advantage. Fairly good job so far. So let's go back up front then. Empower leading by nearly a second, so hasn't disappeared off into the distance from the first 5 minutes, so they're keeping him keen still. We have seen him make a mistake or two in the championship, so it's still, you know, he's not perfect. It can still go someone else's way if they just keep him honest, do as well as they can, and hope that an opportunity presents itself in front of them. So Sam Zantfleet in second, Shaw's in third. We're on board with at the moment. He's got Dennis Deutsch in his sister livery right in behind him. Evening Baz, evening sir. Go Connor indeed, yeah, up in 10th. So it's a competitive lead this. We know Connor's pretty rapid on here. How are you doing, Baz? How are you doing? Evening Josh. Hello sir. I wonder, is this game as loud for you lot as it is for me? Because I still need to sort that out. I forget every week, and then I start the races and I go deaf, frankly. I think it's fine for you lot. But I can't hear a sausage. Not a thing. How you doing, Josh? When's your streaming career getting started? I'm looking forward to seeing that, man. Really looking forward to that. Thanks for the follow as well, Josh. Cheers, man. Much appreciated. I said you have to get involved in these if you've got a bit of free time. Got a few, hopefully a few of the alien fast guys coming back as well. Lockdown have not been kind to a few of them, so it's like with living arrangements and stuff, so not all of them at their rig, unfortunately, the past few months. That's why we've not seen a couple of them, but yeah, hopefully back at it after the new year, and once things can hopefully just die down a little bit. But yeah, it would be good to have you in here showing the moves, boss Josh. Keeping Empower honest at the very least. Oh, absolutely. Oh, 100% Josh. I'm streaming, hopefully I'm streaming some OTL cars taking part in an RCI race. RCI Imola race. Tomorrow Saturday? It is, isn't it? Tomorrow night, yes. So yeah, that would be good. I'll definitely try and tune into yours as well, though. It's very pro setup, all the foam, GT Amiga stuff falling out your ears. It looks great, making me feel a bit imposter syndrome, I think it's called, isn't it? Deutsch having a look then. Very close, but just gone a bit wide then. Round Stowe, going to lose that opportunity he had there. He's going to have to fight to catch back up to him then. But Zandvliet being held up by his brother, so will probably not disappear off into the distance. You'd imagine Dennis Deutsch will latch back onto the rear of them. But still not what he'd like to do. Doesn't want to be losing more time than necessary. It's gone by with Conor Garrett then. So there's more drivers in this league than there are liveries on this car. So there are duplicates, unfortunately. Now what is that iRace in ACC race room, Josh? What's that endurance you're taking part in? I'm interested. So Garrett was Chicoli all over his bumper. Not going for a move yet though. In the bag, Buzz just in behind them. Still 8.5 minutes to go. So nearly halfway through this race. So I like the slightly shorter tracks. You can rinse through that like there isn't no tomorrow. And yeah, you've got still a long train of cars then. Up to, I think, fifth that is Kobalecki leading that train down the straight. So Empower now with a lead of 2.9 seconds. I mean, he's just silly fast, to be frank. But, he's probably, we regard him as an alien, the pace he has. And the rest of these guys are no slouches by any stretch. But yeah, Empower just slightly on a different level, really. So Zandvliet 1 and Zandvliet 2, both in second and third. So still on for a family podium. I think we'd be pretty happy with that. So Empower's disappeared off into the distance a little bit. Sam, still sitting in a comfortable second, but he's got Shores behind him and Dennis Deutsch. They have not really broken up. That train has been going now for a good couple of laps at least. You see Kobalecki still leading that train down the straight. Loic Martin, Phil Lawson, Zvonimir Burek. We've got Sasha Rupel there as well. Conor Garrett still hanging in there. So a little bit of a gap between him and Sasha up in 9th. So he'll be hoping that Sasha may be slowed by those cars in front if they have a bit of a battle. But at the moment, not quite working out for him. He just needs them to come back to him. So Conor, another driver who's no slouch. But it's a good competitive pack, this race room league. One I know they've enjoyed, and they're a good bunch. There's been very, very clean racing in this league throughout, really, from the start all the way till this week. I have to say there is nothing we can complain about, especially a couple of really tricky circuits, especially the first week at Stork, the Swedish circuit. Would have been very easy to bin it around there, but it was very, very clean. It was, I'll be honest, slightly surprising. Pleasantly surprising, but surprising nonetheless. So these three really pulling that gap even further back to Kobalecki in 5th. So there's still a bit of procession at the moment. No one really making too many mistakes. Just not quite the drama we've seen in previous weeks. Maybe it's due to the track being something slightly more familiar to them than we've been doing in other rounds. Going back up top then. So Zandvliet being overtaken by Zandvoort. This who's 1 and 2. That might cause arguments itself. So got to be careful there, not to show favouritism. But Shaw's getting ahead of Sam then. Second and third still, the Dutchman. But they've got the German Dennis Deutsch right in behind. He's going to have to start thinking about taking a look soon. Or maybe be wise and be smart and hope that if Sam maybe is compromising his line a little bit, just trying to look for a way past Shaw's, then maybe Dennis can take advantage of that. Might just need to be smart about it though. So Loic Martin currently up in 6th. Solid race from him so far. As you can see, a few distinct gaps now. These groups have broken up a little bit. So Loic Martin just in behind Kobalecki. Phil Lawson and Zvonimir Burek just behind him, and Sasha Rupel is the rear of this train. And then there's quite a gap back to in the bag bud, sitting back in. There we go, back in 10th. Another good few seconds back to Zyko Madzo. So Jacoli back in 15th as well. So he's not had the race he would normally wish to have. So currently sitting 6th in the championship, so this is a slight outlier for him as performance goes, unfortunately. So Andrew Pike just behind him, like I said, newcomer to the Race Room Leagues. Needs to get up to speed with it. See him mostly on ACC. Does Project Cars 2 on the Xbox as well. Helps run that league, has done for many seasons now. And a wonderful job he does too. Yeah, very solid on ACC, very competent, very solid driver. I'm not sure how much time he'd have got to practice this, if any. So Adam Drain just ahead of them. So you can see quite a few of them making that mistake as they come onto the Hangar Straight. Just coming out of Village and then out of the loop onto the straight. Not going a bit too wide, or nothing as well as that car back in the background there. That was Zamfir, I believe. Pike having a look up the inside, trying to make a move. Oh, saying that, yep. So he's struggling a little bit, you can see with the feedback. Just hasn't quite got that car feeling right, so just a little bit too slidey. Maybe you need to pick up a few tips and tricks from the other drivers. So look at that lead then for Empower, nearly 6 seconds. He's pulled that gap beautifully. The cars behind started fighting, and that's enabled him to just pull another couple of seconds on that margin at the moment. We'll see top 8 reverse. At the moment, Zvonimir Burek currently sitting in 8th, will start on pole for race number 2. So not long left then, just under 2.5 minutes. Another few laps to go. So Loic Martin still come down to the end of the straight, still not been able to get past Kobalecki. So everyone. It's nice. Quite a few of them got close battles and fights to be in, but just struggling to actually be able to make a move. So there aren't that many corners on the circuit. They're driving well enough at the moment, just not to make too many mistakes. So you can see Shaw's and Dennis Deutsch here. Sam Zandvoort dropped back a little bit. 1.5 seconds. So clearly he has made his mistake, but not enough of one that he's dropped too far back. So he has got a little bit of skin in the game. You can still see that battle he was part of for so long, just in front of him. Kobalecki and Loic Martin taking a fair bit of curb. Phil Lawson going a bit wider than he'd liked on that right-hander as well. Kicked him out left, but still going strong. Car going very wide down to the Hangar Straight. Oh, and oh dear, yeah, just about collecting it as it comes back on. But that's going to slow him down horrendously. I think that might have been. No, it was not Pike. Who was that then? It was Phil Lawson. Yeah, and look at the momentum he lost coming down the straight then. So loses the 2 positions down into 9th now. So that was Rupel and Burek coming past him. So Rupel now would be the car starting on pole for race 2. So 8th place will be the coveted position. 9th will start in 9th. So it's a fairly chunky difference once it comes to race number 2 and the position on the road that gives you. So just 30 seconds remaining on the timer then. Let's come up with Empower, see whereabouts he is. So I think this will be the final lap then. And look at that, 7.3 seconds. The more that they fight and the more he gets into his groove, the further up the road he disappears. Not getting bored of it though. Some would get a bit bored of winning by miles. He's not. Can't blame him. Not many of us have that honour. Been quick enough to do that, and yeah, he's very much enjoying himself and driving superbly to boot. So last couple of corners then, great drive from him. We'll come back on board with him in a second. Just checking how Shaw's and Dennis in second and third are getting along. Will Dennis Deutsch make that final move then? It's the last lap. He's going to have a look, and fair play to Shaw's. He's left him the space just in case. I think he was wary of a bit of a dive bomb. Did not go for it though. So M-Power, great drive. Another superb win, well done. A superb victory then. Shaw's Van Zandvliet takes second. Dennis Deutsch just behind him in third. Sam Zandvliet in fourth. Lucas Kovaleka just leading Loic Martin home. Lovely little spin on the line there. Coming in home in fifth. Loic Martin sixth. Zvonimir Burek coming home in seventh. Sasha Rupel finishes eighth and will take pole for race number 2. Phil Lawson. Phil Lawson. That was correct. We'll start in ninth. Finishing this race in ninth. In the bag by 10th. Daiko Mazzo 11th. Conor Garrett coming over the line in 12th. Adam Drain 13th. Dale Wright 14th. Vizar Chacoli 15th. Andrew Pike 16th. Martin Webb is coming over the line in 17th. Got Jay Middleton, Ronnie Fundit and Zamfir Radu coming home 18th, 19th and 20th. And then, yes, unfortunately, Damien Jensen was pitting very early, so retirement. I'm not sure why, but we'll find out afterwards. So great drive again from M-Power. 1:10.759 as well, taking the fastest lap. So pole, fastest lap and the race win. Another full house for him. So it has been held honest in a few races this championship, but yeah, that was pretty strong. Sod that. I don't want to start at the front. The extra pressure, not something I like. Yeah, up to 7th from him. Starts on the front row then for race number 2. But yeah, it's interesting. It was quite close all throughout, and then that second sort of half of the race, you did see the gaps just gradually increase. And they grew further and further from there, really. It did still have a few fights. But yeah, you saw everyone fairly comfortable, to be honest. Didn't really make many silly mistakes, and all kept it nice and close. So then we'll just get into the lobby for the second race then. As his car slowly decided, oh no, it was hide in the ground. I decided now I'll stay above terra firma. It's probably a healthier thing to do. So I think we'll hop out here then. And then we'll get into the lobby for race number 2. As I said, no qualifying. Just straight into the race, top 8 reversed from the race 1 results. And then everyone else starting where they finished. But interesting first race, all that train of cars in that mid-pack for quite a large portion of the race. Then broke up. Don't know if that was due to a couple of little clashes here or there, or just people maybe finding in the car a little bit tougher to drive later on, or a few people starting to make mistakes. Okay, so I think we'll be alright, jumping straight into this second race then. A few of them just popping out for a quick practice while everyone hops in the into the lobbies while we've got this little practice session. Make sure everyone gets in, and then they'll skip straight into the grid and they will get going. So M-Power back out on circuit again. Trust me, that is M-Power. There we go. So another superb performance from him. So I think when you're seeing the end of the race, you see those gaps expanding and expanding. I just think it's tyre temperature. I think by the end, as the race is going on, they are getting pretty hot. Depends on quite how you drive them. Obviously, the craft of the machine, the way you're driving it, will make a difference to that. But I do think that's where you're getting those gaps suddenly increasing and increasing. So just 3 or 4 of them out on circuit at the moment. Yeah, front left is hot enough to fry an egg. Yeah, so I thought so. Yeah. Yeah, so I know some probably struggle with it slightly more than others, but I think all round it will probably get pretty hot. I mean, the tarmac's not that warm. It's in Britain, of course. That can only produce so much heat. So just wait for a last few to hop in the lobby, and then we can get going again. So we're just waiting on 2 more. Try to see the other camera as well. Not all of them do, annoyingly. Didn't get to use the cockpit camera, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, I think they've had plenty long enough for people to get in, unfortunately. It's a bit like... Damien Jensen, we saw retire early on, maybe having tech issues. I don't know if he'll be able to make race number 2, which is a shame. And there's one more as well. Not sure who that is, but they know the formats. If they're not there after a few minutes, then we get into the race. They miss it. They miss it. Unfortunately, can only wait so long. So then, wait for them to grid up. And we see Sasha Ruppel sitting at the front. Never even heard of next track. I have watched a few races at Motegi, but not for a long time, so God knows I can't remember it. So there we go. That was a bit of a worry. So I can't switch cars there until they're all on the grid, and it was like, he's leaving this late. So right, he's onto circuit then. So nearly all gridded up. There we go. So let's go on board with Sasha Ruppel at the front then. Finished 8th in race 1. Gets pole position with that reversed top 8 for race number 2. And they are away. Looks like he's got a solid start then. Zvonimir Burek to his right. And Loic Martin right in behind him. A fair bit of tussling going on very early doors further back. But a good start from Ruppel. Burek holding on to those top 2 positions like Martin and Zandvliet, 3rd and 4th. They try to sort themselves out very early doors. Zandvliet. Sure, Van Zandvliet looking at Dennis Deutsch. I've seen plenty of the rear bumper of that car, and that's not changed. A little bit of a nudge there. Goes driving up the inside. Looks like he might make that move stick as well. Lovely move. So some using a bit more track than others, but I think the game's fairly understanding on that. Zyka Madza unfortunately dropped off the back. And Visage Okoli as well. Maybe they've had a little coming together. Little door rubbing as well. 3 wide briefly by I think that was Empower, Dennis Deutsch and Phil Lawson. So Deutsch into 6th at the moment. So this reversed 8 always gives an interesting format for race number 2 and 3. It's that slightly different racing, similar to what we do on Project Cars on Xbox as well. It works brilliantly there. 3 wide again. Interesting corner to try and do 3 wide, and I mean they've handled it fairly well as you're going to, really. So it's very, very close early on as they try to work themselves out. Give themselves a little bit of room. Sam Van Zandvliet up the inside then. Coming through the first few corners of lap number 2. A bit of a hopped curb there for Sasha Ruppel. It's going to lose him a bit of time. Pops it down into 3rd now. So Shores Van Zandvliet pops that up into the second. A bit of a brotherly affair then on the front row. But look at that trainer cars. I said you're going to get the quickest guys from race 1. Normally start to come through. Empower's already up into 4th. Oh, well spotted. I was like, that's rude. Oh, he's talking to a bot. Yeah. It's like you can be rude to that. Thank you. Right, ban. Good. Gone. Anyways. Lovely. We're already famous in our own minds and hearts. That's all that matters. So, yes, Zandvliet 1 and Zandvliet number 2. And that's their place and positions. Not just my nicknames for them now. But look at that. RuPaul, Dennis Deutsch. Oh, it's a very close battle. Yeah, we've got RuPaul, Dennis Deutsch. Just behind him. Phil Lawson, Kobalecki in the bag, bud. So the rear of those two have slightly dropped off a little bit. RuPaul still with a solid start. So Empower's got past them already. He's up into 4th. So we're looking to close that gap on the front 3. We're 3 minutes in already. So noisy old cars these. Got a bit of grunt. Ian and AJ. Evening, sir. How are you? Fairly happy after last night's Rangers win, I'm sure. Makes it worth ditching out of our stream for, I suppose. Hope you're right, man. Good to see you. So Empower in behind Burek at the moment. So Burek has lost 1 position from the start, but first nearly 4 minutes. Still in the top 4. Still showing some decent pace. But the 2 Zandvliet brothers still holding 1 and 2. A nice gap as well between them and third place, as you can see here. Burek. Empower looking to his right. Not going for the move though. 24, yeah, it's lovely. It's fair play. I bet Neil Lennon wish you could have said that. I'm alright, man. I'm not too bad, dude. Thanks for asking. Got ball with Lucas Kobalecki then. Currently sitting in 8th. Phil Lawson just ahead of him. It's another driver that can really mix it anywhere. Anywhere on the grid. So Empower's normally on sheer pace alone. Empower is off and away at the front normally, but everyone else, it's a bit of a shake them up and place them wherever you want, frankly. It's a very mixed affair from week to week, depending on the circuit. But Lawson holding on nicely. In the back, bud, just behind him. The red and black liveried Beamer. So Dyke Martin's had some issues. So he's in the pits then, so he's had to possibly retire, I think. Oh, well, he's in the pits. Doing what? I'm not sure. But he's definitely in the pits. Adam Drain off the back. So again, he would have had a mistake somewhere. Adam? When have I called him Adam? Andrew Pike. Down in 17th. Still a 5-car fight then here. Making the move up the inside of Zamfib. Takes a bit of curb. So still getting to grips with the car, it looks like. Doing his best. He'll get amongst it. Pike is too good to muck around at the back. But saying that, I said the pace on Race Room is pretty handy. It's going to take him a little while to get used to something the rest of them have had a good few rounds to acclimatise to already. Oh, fun. So the brothers at the front, giving this nice and close. And Empower, though, very much in for the fight now. So can Sjors in second keep him behind? It's going to be a tough ask. Not quite the corner camera wanted. There we go. No, apparently that was wing camera. It looked a long way from the wing, unless that wing's about 16 foot off the back of the car. Oh, you're out. I thought so. That's a bummer. Still one more race though, I suppose. Still one more race. Going up the inside of him then, so he makes the move, or just about. Gets a slot back in. So Empower up into second now then. And he will be on the chase to try and hunt down Sam Van Zandvliet in that lead car. I'm assuming it's Sam Van Zandvliet. If one of them's Van, the other one's going to be Van, surely. I don't know. Maybe I don't understand my European surnames well enough. So looking up the inside then. Is he going to make it stick? Oh, he's going to be in danger here. Oh, and a little bit of a nudge. Goes onto the inside. And, just holds on to the lead then. Sam. Fleet. Saying that. Shaw's going to look up the inside of Empal then. Coming in to Abbey. A little bit of door-on-door rubbing then. So this game's quite sympathetic for contact, which is a relief. Evening, Smudger. Hello, sir. How are things? Sorry, went a bit gangster there. I do apologise. That's gangster as I get. Terrible gangster. He said it was is instead of are. Shoot me now, I suppose. I hope you're well, man. I hope you're well. So these front three really bunching up. Something chronic. So actually now, top 5 within a second. Zvonimir is still part of this fight. It's quick bum time. It's going to get for these guys here, absolutely. Oh, it's going to be a bit of a squeeze on the right-hander at Stowe. Oh, it's going to go 3 wide then. Oh, they're going to make it round the left-hander coming into club. Got a little bit turned around then, so there was contact. Oh, and Empower goes round, and that is a horrible place to have to rejoin. I'd get that reversed if I were him. That's not going to be very easy to get back on track. He's going to have to give that the full beans, and yeah, he's down in 11th. So whether we'll see that reported later on, I'm not sure. It's a little bit hard to tell exactly what was happening there. That many cars that close to each other. It's always dangerous that one might get a little turnaround, and yeah, it's hard to judge in the moment. We'll have to see if that goes to the incident panel. Torch looking up the inside, takes a whole lot of sausage curb. So fighting with Shaw's Van Zandvliet. In 3rd and 4th, Vonnemeer just ahead of them. And then Sam Zandvliet just up the road. They can see as well in the Bagbud and Kobalecki in behind. You've got the 3-way battle behind them as well. You've got Connor Garrett, Phil Lawson and Darryl Wright just behind them. Empower, where is he? So still back in 10th at the moment. Shikoli having a bit of a fight then with Jay Middleton. Middleton up the inside. We'll try and make that stick. Lagging a little bit, maybe just skipping along the road, but goes out very wide, so that's not quite where he wanted to go. So Sam leading by about a second then from Zvonimir and Dennis. Shaw's in 4th. And then that little gap to Kobalecki and in the Bagbud in 5th and 6th. Ah, sweet, man. I'm looking forward to it, Smudge. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that BTCC. That'd be very good. Thank you very much for the follow. Not quite sure how you say your name. Rundum SM. 999. Yes. Thank you very much for the follow. Much appreciated. Yeah, these cars. Oh, look, these you don't. That first race was a bit strung out, but once you get the reverse top 8s, it very much changes the action. Very different kettle of fish straight away. So it wasn't not a race quit from Zam, unfortunately. Something arose that he had to go and deal with, some personal stuff. So not a problem, Zam. If you do watch this back, hopefully everything's okay. Look forward to seeing you back on track. So just 4 minutes to go then. Top 6 very, very close together. Less than 2 seconds covering all 6 of them. So at the moment, Connor Garrett sitting in 8th would be pole position for the final race of the evening. But we've still got 4 minutes of racing to go. Oh, and that's a fair chunky wallop there. That's going to really help Shaw's in 3rd. That's going to give him a great opportunity to catch Sam. I said you can get away with a little bit of contact on these games. So now Zvonimir had a poor corner there, got a right old wobble on at the apex, and yeah, look how much pace that's dropped him onto the straight. The one corner you don't want to mess up, the one coming onto the long straight, the hanger straight, and he's flown backwards unfortunately, so he pops it in behind in the Bagbud, back now in 6th for Zvonimir. And the Bagbud now ahead of him in 5th. Kobalecki sitting in 4th. He's only a second off the lead, so the winner could really come from anywhere. Empower hasn't really maybe been able to gain time since that incident earlier on. Saying that, he's just got past, well, he's just trying to get past Darrell Wright. He's got Phil Lawson just ahead of him, so he's pushing hard there as he knows he needs to. Doing all he can. So 2.5 minutes, just over 2.5 minutes to go. So Sam Zandvliet leading them out still. It's a good 6/10 lead. About as big a lead as we've seen tonight in this second race. Shaw's just behind him in 2nd. Dennis Deutsch again in 3rd. These guys are always in the mix. Kobalecki in 4th. It's gone ball with him then, so you can see the front 3 just ahead of him. So takes a nice smooth exit on to the Hanger Straight, coming all the way down to Stowe. That's the corner. You see anyone mess that up, you see them fly backwards very, very quickly. So you can see him there. He's just a little bit off the back of Dennis Deutsch at the moment, about maybe half a second or so. Just 2 minutes left on the timer. So Sam driving very well. Looking possibly on for a race win then in race number 2. The cars behind him still very much close enough to hopefully make a battle of this in the remaining just under 2 minutes. Shaw's going a little bit wide. Dennis Deutsch does not need that invitation, and he walks straight through the open door up into 2nd place then. So Shaw's down into 3rd now. Kobalecki right in behind him. Seeing the Bagbud and Zvonimir still nice and close behind them. Conor Garrett broken away from that pack, but just behind him a little bit. BMW Empower at the moment will get pole for race 3, which is the last thing everyone else needs. They would really quite like him to start 9th, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Phil Lawson, he'll try and do something about that though, sitting in 9th at the moment. Darrell Wright just behind him. Bit of a gap back to Visage Okoli. Some of those are just, you know, have got pace, but just making a few more mistakes tonight than the others. Sasha Rupel down in 14th, so has not had a good evening, unfortunately. So despite half decent pace, I got caught up in something a little bit earlier on. He's got Rolling Thunder just behind him. Unfortunately, the rearmost of the car still running, as you can see there. Pike having an absolute nightmare. So not quite sure why. So I think maybe there's some bits and bobs that he might need to ask people, see if he's got things set right. To number 305 cars then. Deutsch and Zandvliet having a good old fight here. Just giving each other enough room. It's good driving there, giving each other just enough space. He'll slot in though. So one more lap. Coming around for one more time. Deutsch just pops his nose out. Just a little bit of a dummy. Never going to go for that move from there. Kobalecki right behind them though, so they don't want to mess around too much. Otherwise he will walk straight through another open door. I don't think so, AJ. Don't think he can make custom liveries on here. To be honest, Smudge, yeah, I like the small layout for certain cars. For quick fun races, but for league stuff that would never work. For international, absolutely. But you're pretty sure you can't make custom liveries. Fairly certain. So lead car then, Sam Zandvliet, 1.2 second lead. Coming round the last few corners for the final time, just coming round Stowe. Won't take any silly risks here. He'll just keep it nice and controlled, and I think the rest of them just behind him are a little bit spread out now, so it's unlikely we'll see anything aggressive here then coming into club. And let's see if they have worked themselves out through this section. I think it'll all stay nice and clean. So Empower, Judy said Empower when I see a white BMW. Sam Zandvliet taking that win. So it looks like I saw looking at the standings and seeing Empower swapping backwards into 9th, so he may not get pole. So Shaw's fan Zandvliet getting 2nd, so Zandvliet 1 and 2. Dennis Deutsch finishing 3rd. Kobalecki in the Bagbud 4th and 5th. Zvonimir Burek 6th. Conor Garrett 7th. Phil Lawson took 8th. This means BMW Empower starts in 9th then, does not get that reverse grid pole. So damn it, I'm further forward. Don't want that. No, it's alright. Do what you can. Do if I get past, I get past. Sod it. Darrell Wright will start in 10th then for race number 3. Visage Okoli finishes in 11th. Martin Webb 12th. Zyko Madzo 13th. Sasha Rupel back in 14th. Rolling Thunder 15th. Adam Drain took 16th. Jamie Middleton 17th. And then Andrew Pike rounding out the grid in 18th. Struggling a little bit, unfortunately, but bringing it home nonetheless. So race winner Sam Zandvliet. But yeah, fastest lap again, 1:10.831. The only driver in the 110s, it would appear. Yep, is BMW M-Power. So another point, anyways, for the fastest lap. Well done. And then we move on shortly then to the final race of the evenings, which will see Phil Lawson and Conor Garrett on the front row, Burek and in the Bagbuds on the second row, Kubelicki and Deutsch third row, and Zandvliet and Van Zandvliet and Zandvliet in 7th and 8th. So it's just one more race to go then for the evening. But it's always fun. There's always hectic stuff on Race Room. Yeah, it's like no, that's too far forward. Put me further back, please. I'll swap with anybody. Don't like the pressure then, Bud. You don't like that. Just typing a quick message in Discord, just to make sure, yeah, just getting on top of something. Oh, no. Rather chest and beach, fair enough, yeah. We should be straight back up into then race number 3. So I am still here, by the way, Visa. Just quickly typing something in Discord. So then, just going to get the remaining drivers into the lobby, and then we can get going again. So just a few drivers getting a bit angry in Discord. There's a few little incidents here and there, but we've got quite a strict policy on not having people complain and... Oof. I was having a mild nosebleed. James J said in the Discord chat. You know I was overperforming last race. I was having a mild nosebleed. It's too far up. Adam Drain is back. Quick toilet break for him then, so we're all good. I got that touch and spit. Yeah, I think a few do. Thing is, these cars, it's so close. You get a lot of good driving, don't you? You get a lot of good racing, and naturally, sometimes it's not going to go quite as planned. It's just cars. I mean, M-Power got turned around in that race, didn't he? Sometimes it happens, and not always dirty driving. So look, if there is dirty driving, that's what the incident panel's there for. If you let people, just mouth off about stuff they're angry about all the time in the chat, it just descends into a mess. Which is why it maybe looks like we're slightly over strict, maybe. But like, it's, if you let it descend into like, you think, oh, everyone will be able to talk about it nicely. It doesn't. That's not how it goes. But yes, we were just trying to make sure everyone understood that. So it's all good. We've got quite a few new drivers into this league. So some people might just need a little bit of reminders about those, how we do things like that. But it's all good. Yeah, yeah, that's a public flogging, OJ. Yeah. Again, no. Racing on the Xbox. It's so close. You're going to have incidents. If you want great racing, you want cars to be close, and if you get cars that close, you're going to have the odd one spin. You're going to have mistakes be made. People misjudge gaps, speed differentials. Even misjudgments happen. It's why the good races are amazing, because if you had amazing races every single race, they wouldn't be amazing. They'd be normal, wouldn't they? So you're going to have the odd crap race or two. Unfortunately, it's the way the world is, isn't it? But ideally, when it goes well, there's nothing like it, is there? There's nothing like it. Even if the crash is your fault, it's still your fault. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Don't worry. Yeah. Not intentionally. No, stuff happens. Like I said, no one's trying to drive on like dirty. They're just making decisions and judgments that sometimes are wrong. Sometimes they're mistakes, but they happen. They happen. On the whole, this is still really a very clean league. And as I said, that's what the instant panel's there for. If people need to report stuff, they can report it, get it from the panel, get evidence, report it to the panel. We get the opposing person's point of view, so we've got both sides, and then we make an informed, unbiased decision. So, we try and do it. We do the best we can. It's not easy, but, someone's got to do it. Cheers, Visa. Good luck, Zvonimir. Good luck, Visa. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right, Zvonimir. Because it's replay afterwards. It all happens in the heat at the moment. It happens so fast. Not always easy to tell what happened. So it's all good, and besides, if sometimes you tap someone around you, cause an incident, then apologise afterwards. I'm really sorry, I didn't mean that. And if they report you, then you hold your hands up, go sorry, and then you take it on the chin and you move on, and that gets you a lot of brownie points with both the panel and the person you've probably messed up. Sometimes it happens. So final race then, round number 3. We're on board with Conor Garrett at the moment, sat on the front row alongside our pole sitter Phil Lawson, and they are away. Oh, and I'll say they're away. In the back, Bud was very much not away. So there's been a bit of contact further back. So a car did not move off the grid. I don't know what's happened in the bag, but that looked like someone sat still. So I wonder what happened there. Whether there's been a pedal issue or a wheel issue. And he has not got away at all. So we lost a couple of drivers as well who aren't here for race number 3. Not quite sure who. We'll have to see as we go on. So that's a shame for in the bag, but I don't know if he's got going again. No, he's just sat there, so that's a bit weird. So there's something going on there. We'll have to find out what happened afterwards. But yeah, no, I'm not sure what happened. Oh, hello. That's a disappearing, and I think it was Adam Drain. There's a one-way trip to the wall, and that looks like that's smarted. Yeah, that is going to... driving like a bag of spanners. Oh, yeah, that's how a bag of spanners would drive. I think that's a retirement, unfortunately. That doesn't look like that's going to be safe to get home. Unless that was just him burying the throttle. Oh, no, that doesn't look nice, does it? Oh, that does not look pretty. I don't think he stalled it, because now he's had to retire, so something's gone on there. I don't know what. I'll have to keep my eye on in Discord and see what happened there. So that's a shame for him, unfortunate. But yeah, you get that in real life. You get the car stalled on the light. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those. It can happen in real life. It happens here. It's just you've got to be on your toes. And unfortunately, the people behind him went straight up his rear bumper, right up his exhaust, and yeah, not much they could do about that. So Lawson still holding on. Then Conor Garrett in second. Now into third. Well, possibly into fourth in a minute. So Burek making his way through, and yours Van Zandvliet looking at trying to get through as well. Conor Garrett drops into fourth then. Empower just in behind him. So I think we've got another possible retirement. So we might have a couple. So we've got in the bag, Bud is in the pits. Now Adam Jones kept going. Whether he'll decide to pit, I don't know. Whether he'll retire. Oh, that's gutting. That's gutting, dudes. Yeah, I wasn't. When your car didn't move, I'm like, that's weird, because he was clearly ready. But like you said, like I just said, sometimes you have real life tech failures. A car will stall or whatever. And so it's sim racing. It's just different same problem, different reason, isn't it? Kind of thing. Just different mechanics side of things. But that's gutting. Wonder what the hell caused that. Yeah, very unlucky, mate. Sorry, dude. It's a shame. Said I'm lucky for the car behind you, but there's not much you can do about that, is there? You know, not exactly your fault. So don't worry, if they do report that, I'll tell them to chuck it in the bin. It's not like you could do anything about it. Well, going very wide there then. That's one of the Zandvliets. No, it's not Zandvliet, it's one of the Burek. Conor Garrett and Empower having a bit of a touchy, but just behind him. Getting very intimate with one another. Little touch there then. Garrett getting pushed a little bit wide. He'll have to try and force his way back on circuit and does so. So still quite close at the front. Top two. You see there, Phil Lawson and Shores Van Zandvliet, nice and close. And then that pack right behind him. Bit of a mixed bag at the moment. Sort of cars all in different kind of positions. Sort of very unorganised looking pack, but they are still going strong. So nearly 4 minutes into our final race then. A few little touches here, a few bits of rubbing is racing going on here. Very touring car-y, these kind of cars. I know they're enjoying it though, this league on the whole. It's always the race you G yourself up for, isn't it? Like, right, really looking forward to this one, and then something happens like that. Massive bummer, dude. Massive shame. Cars absolutely flying about everywhere here. It's absolute mayhem. Very hard to keep track of. Sometimes they form a nice orderly queue, and they're not doing that. So it's getting a marker, a piece of paper, shutting your eyes, and then making loads of dots. It's like that's the kind of formation they're driving down the straight in. Oh, look at that! It's a straight line. That's about the most orderly I've seen them all race. Not for long though. Not to get anywhere near an apex. So Kobalecki then looking up the inside. No, not going to go for that move. So he'll stay in 8th then. But Shores Van Zandvliet holding on to the lead. Empower up to 2nd place already. Phase 2, about half a second clear. We're saying that, half a second clear. Phil Lawson still pretty close to the this front 2 fight. He's got Vizar Jacoli just behind him. Again, another driver, like I said, who has got the pace, was just not quite had the luck in a few races, but was still someone you know can fight their way near the front. Especially, it can be about track position in this league because people are quite similar pace-wise. Ideally, you want them to be, you know, where you start. That track position early on is really important. Once you have to fight through the pack, that really hinders your pace. Something terrible. So just under 10 minutes to go then for the final race this evening. Conor going fairly wide, gets back on track nicely though. Slots back in front of Dennis Deutsch, the fellow black BMW there. Burek and Kobalecki just behind him. Rupel and Zandvliet, the two just behind them, just at the rear of the picture. So we're still very, very close. Going up to the front 3 as they come into the final couple of corners. Coming through club. Going very wide then is Vizar Jacoli. So he'll whack that back on track, hopefully, nice and smoothly. So you've got a front 4 here, and then you've got a 5th back to 9th with that gap in between. So 2 pretty good fights going on here. So we've got Martin Webb as well with Dal Wright and Andrew Pike right behind him. So maybe Pike getting a little bit more comfortable with the car. It does take a little while to get used to how the car drives and how it performs and how you've got to drive it, especially in a competitive race. When you've got to practice, you get a bit of a chance to try it without too much pace. That's a bit divey from Dal Wright. Not sure. Yeah, don't quite know where he was trying to go there. But there wasn't really ever any room on the inside for him to go down the inside there. So that's all on him, I think. So Mike Webb thankfully didn't get turned around or anything, still going strong. So go back up front. So front 4 slightly stretched out. Then again, BMW Empower up into the lead. Half second clear then of Shores Van Zandvliet. Phil Lawson and Vizar Jacoli 3rd and 4th. Then that 2nd pack. That's not him. There we go. Conor Garrett back in 5th, leading out to Zvonimir Burek. Saying that. Going back on board with Zandvliet, and that is a very dented looking bumper. That's not how he wants to. But that doesn't feel. I mean, if that feels as like it looks, then that's not going to be much fun to drive. Trying to keep Dennis Deutsch and so I think him and Dennis Deutsch have clearly had an off then somewhere because they were much further forward at one point. We'll see afterwards, but that would be my suspicion at the moment. just 7 and a bit minutes to go then. So Empower seeing what he can do at the front. Is he going to pull away? Still 3/4 of a second the gap back to Shaw's Van Zandvliet. So trying his best to keep Empower honest at the moment. So the only races they can take off him are a bonus. I'm pretty sure Empower will win the championship. His lead is pretty insurmountable at this stage. As long as he turns up for all the races, he should be good. So front four a little bit stretched out. We saw that rear pack. Conor Garrett still leading Burette round. Burette not been able to make a move as of yet. Just over 6 minutes left to go. Sam Zandvliet doing what he can. So again, we know he's got good pace. But sometimes when the race just doesn't go your way, the pace is very, very similar for a lot of the drivers. Everyone behind Empower, frankly. So you can pretty much put you anywhere on circuit. And yes, that car's got a bit of a headache by the looks of things. Got a very sore left eye at the very, very least. Don't think it's steering particularly where he wants it to go either. But doing what he can, doing his best. But I think he will be a little bit of a sitting duck there for Dennis Deutsch. A little bit of a tap there. Dennis Deutsch will get a little bit frustrated about this. I'm sure thinks he can get past, but just hasn't been able to manage it yet. So Zandvliet defending as much as he can. Empower pulled out a 1.6 second, nearly 2 second lead now. Shaw's and Phil Lawson second and third. But Shaw's got a bit of a good gap now, 1.2, 1.3 seconds. Back to Phil Lawson, who's defending for Visage Coley. So Lawson seeing if he can get a podium then. See if we can bring that home on the top three. But Visa, get another driver that when it goes his way is more than capable of sitting on the front few positions. Oh, look at that cluster of cars still further back then. Still trying to sort themselves out. Conor Garrett still leading the way from them then. And that's the view back from Conor's car as a little BMW pops his head out from behind. From behind Zvonimir Burette, and there's another one then. Oh, and they all make a move up the inside, and there's all sorts of crunching and a crunching. Let's go back to TV camera. It's a very race room kind of move that. Not sure if that might get looked at afterwards. Did look a little bit forceful. It sounded, it sounded great, but they're all going strong still. Sam Zandvliet with a very sold-as-seen BMW 235i then. But he's getting it round. Somehow he's getting that round. 4 minutes to go then. Not long now. It's got a few distinct packs then throughout the grid. Zandvliet going up the inside, little tap on the rear corner again. This game's very understanding of that sort of touch. And something like AMS2 or ACC is even that would have a car or that being murdered. That did look quite a hit though. So it could be a little bit cleaner. I will say that. I do think it could be a little bit less door bangy, but that can be looked at afterwards for sure. So Shaw's Van Zandvliet still sitting in second place. Should be a safe podium for him. Same for Phil Lawson, although he's got Visage Coley still pretty close to him. Still about half a second, maybe 3/4 of a second, the gap between those two. Let's go back to Kobalecki. Kobalecki sitting in 12th then, not had the race 3 that he was hoping for. So Martin Webb just in front of him. You can see right in the rear of your picture a second ago. You can see the pack coming through. Yeah, a little bit. I don't mind when it happens, like, you know, here and there, but not like intentionally. Not when it's like constant. Yeah, I don't know. That was just a lot of it. So we'll see. That's what the panel's there for. So yes, gets looked at if it needs to, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Otherwise, we'd be here literally all day. As you know, Smudge, from when we used to have to do all that stuff ourselves back in the early days of OTL. Well, Martin Webb using all of the runoff there then. A very, very narrow entry onto Hangar Straight. No, sorry, Hangar Straight, that's not coming down into that corner. That's not yet, that's here. slightly different camera angle. Yeah, same thing though. Again, narrow entries. That's gonna. You'd imagine that will harm his momentum down the straight, but it seems to just get a smooth enough exit. It's happened in a few laps now that Kobilecki's not been able to make the jump. So that was coming round. Farm curve into village, I think, when I first said that. But Cleve was going slightly on the defensive very early. Empower's made a hell of a jump further forward, so he's, I think, off and away now. This group in the mid pack, though, not separating at all. You've got Rupert and Madzo right towards the back of this pack who want to get involved as well. So it's Conor Garrett, Dennis Deutsch, the two black BMWs. You've got the slightly damaged car of Sam Zanfleet. This is Volodymyr Burek, Sasha Rupel, and then Psycho Madzo in 10th, the Swedish driver, rounding out the top 10. Just over a minute to go now then. So they'll be coming around to start their final lap very, very shortly. Air horns are plenty, good old race room sound effects, gotta love them. If you like air horns, this game is very much for you. Garrett hitting the apex nicely then. Coming around Stowe in towards Vale and then Club then for the penultimate time. Little tap on the back by Deutsch, but hasn't harmed him. It has harmed Deutsch though. Well, Zanfleet, that's getting too close. That's poor, and that's turned Conor Garrett round. I wouldn't be too happy with that. I do feel that. Yeah, Zanfleet's been a bit tappy since his car's gotten like that, and that looked pretty easily avoidable to me. Again, the panel can look at that if that gets reported. That was just my initial opinion. It might be wrong, but that looked pretty avoidable to me. That looked like someone just keeping their foot in it when they could maybe just lift a little bit, avoid any incident. So that's unfortunate. Conor Garrett then dropping down into 10th. So final couple of corners then. Another great drive from Empower, made his way through the pack. Bit of a different challenge in the final race of the evening. But there he comes through and he takes the win. Well done to you there, Empower. Shores Van Zanfleet trying to have a bumper just like his brothers. Comes home in second. Phil Lawson took the final podium spot ahead of Vizar Jacoli. Dennis Deutsch. Crikey, there's a lot of moving cars there right at the end. Dennis Deutsch just taking 5th place from Volodymyr Burek. Sam Zanfleet in 7th. Sash Rupel 8th. Zyko Madzo coming home in 9th. Conor Garrett then coming home in 10th in the end after that incident we saw earlier on. Martin Webb took 11th, just ahead of Lucas Kobilecki. Darryl Wright in it's 13th here. Yeah, Lucas Kobilecki 12th. Yeah, so Darryl Wright 13th. Pike coming home in 14th. We then had Rolling Thunder, Jay Middleton in 15th and 16th, and then Adam Drain rounded out the grid there, just coming over the line in 17th place. So yes, interesting final race. Another fast lap, another 1:10.8 from Empower. Great driving there. A few low 1:11s from elsewhere on the grid. Still pretty close for everybody else. But yeah, Empower with a superb win and fastest lap yet again. So even more points for him. So yeah, some good racing, some slightly messy stuff as well. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the odd incident pop up from that race. But yeah, some good racing. Again, these cars provide you with some cracking close racing. And yeah, more of the same, thank you, next week. So I was wondering why we lost a couple of drivers. I think some drivers forget that it's three a night. Like also because it's the first time I think we've done it on Race Room. So yeah, we'll have to drum it into their head that there's 3. But hey ho, they mean well. Still most of the drivers there, so I can't complain. Cheers, Baz. Much appreciated. All the best, sir. Look forward to seeing you again next week, mate. So I should be back hopefully tomorrow. For a bit of a watch along. We've got 3 teams taking part in RCI's 3 hours of Imola on ACC. And yes, I will hopefully be doing a bit of a watch along. So we'll be streaming whatever tier. Hopefully 2 of our cars will be in the same tier. And if so, I will watch that tier. So yes, hopefully you can join me then tomorrow for a bit of that. So should be looking forward to that. I think it's about 6 o'clock in the evening tomorrow, GMT. So a little bit earlier, but a couple of hours earlier than our normal league races would be. But yeah, it would be awesome if you tune in. No worries, Baz. No worries, dude. Who's that with? That at Silverstone? I can't remember. I'm assuming that's ACC, isn't it? It is ACC. Okay. Fair enough. All good. Yeah, I think there's a few people taking part in that. Well, enjoy. I hope your race goes well, Baz. I hope your race goes well for sure. If I do see you in our stream between your stints, would be very, very awesome though. So yeah, but if not a problem. And all the best. Hope you have a cracking race and a wicked Saturday. So yeah, cheers everybody for watching this evening. Good bit of fun for race room. It's always good on here. Next week, I think as we said earlier in the stream, we are at Motegi East Course, I believe. So something back to the slightly less familiar, but hopefully they will still enjoy themselves. So slightly less streams on the run up to Christmas. I will watch along tomorrow. Back next Thursday with ACC. That is from Hungaroring for the penultimate race of our GT3 League on ACC for season number 5, and then back for the penultimate race of our race from BMW 235i Championship. At Twin Ring Motegi East Course. Looking forward to that. Final round at Sonoma the week after as well. That should be good. We do have a special event on Assetto Corsa. It's going to be a little British Touring Car Championship. Mini One Championship night thing, like just a little special event all encompassed in one evening. I believe that's on the 19th. You can go to otlracing.com. You can see details of it there. Scroll down or go to the news page. You'll find the article there with all the details in, the sign-up links and whatnot, and the links to all the mod content if you would like to take part. So yeah, I will stream that. Should be really, really good. Cheers, dude. Yeah, cheers, Baz. Cheers, Ronimir. So yeah, awesome. Well, on that note then, thank you everybody for watching. It's been awesome as usual. I'll hopefully catch you all tomorrow evening, about 6 o'clock GMT. As I watch our OTL teams take part in the RCI 3 hours of Imola. So not commentating, just watch along. Did that about 2 or 3 weeks ago for another RCI race at Spa when our teams took part. Hopefully we'll have a bit more luck tomorrow, fingers crossed. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So anyways, on that note, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Friday evening. I'll see you hopefully tomorrow, but if not, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all next time.